Hi, welcome everyone to Elevate. This is a channel where we elevate your soul, your consciousness, your mind, your body through discussing art, music, culture, history, and everything that surrounds it. I am your host, San, and along with me is G Rose, and I'm really excited to be here along with all of you. And this is our first video. I'm really
Yeah.
excited.
Hello, everyone. So yeah, as San was saying that this is our first reaction analysis video, and the artist is really interesting, and San has a very interesting story to tell on how he found this and then shared it with me. So this is a very, interesting 45 or 50 minutes or 1 hour that
Yeah,
everyone's
let's
going to be
just hope.
involved in. And we hope that everyone's going to have a good time learning and um, getting more from this entire session. So without further delay, over to you. Let's see what San has for us today.
Yeah, so I was traveling to Brampton, a city that is 1 hour away by bus last week, and traveling through monotonous concrete jungles, I realized listening to music was my gateway to keep myself engaged. And I listened to a
Mm.
house track that had this particular sample which really intrigued me. And I went looking for the original sample, and I found an amazing artist who really changed my perception. And yeah, without further ado, let's go listen to Mory Kante. Yep.
So that was a very interesting thing that we watched. So San, you go first with your thoughts, and the stage is yours. And after you finish, I will go with mine. So go for it.
Yes, I actually have a lot to say, man. But every time I listen to this song, I go through so much amount of inspiration and feelings. But let's try to contain it to a few points as we speak. So, firstly, I feel that this was a very tricky period, 1987, when, let's say, apartheid was still a thing in South Africa, and it was 40 years after the greatest war that humanity had witnessed. That was the World War II. A few years before the fall of USSR, it was like a very politically very tight period. And there is this black man. I'm not being racist here. I mean, let's acknowledge the circumstances of those times. He went out of his way, took his culture, fused it with something so like punchy, groovy, modern, and he just put his flag on the earth. And this song, in fact, charted #1 on Europe, actually.
Yeah, so what I had seen in the video and what I felt after 5 or 6 times of watching this video, like I finally noticed something that neither of them are actually singing or playing the music. Like other than the person who's playing the drums and but like Mory Kante is actually lip syncing and he's not, you realize he's not touching the instrument. He's not playing the instrument. It's just there. And I think the only the woman dancing was the star of the show, right? Only she had her proper performance, the rest of them were just there. And so I think that this was more about the cultural representation, like bringing it on a big stage, like having all those people on the stage rather than having them perform, right? Like having that live performance, so I think it was just about watching them live on the stage and bringing that whole thing. And I think that's so fascinating. It's like how something like that became so exotic, right? At the time.
Yes, it
So
charted
bringing
number
all of
one.
that. So I think, yeah, that's what I think that it's so fascinating. That neither of them were actually playing the instrument or singing. They were just
Yeah,
there. Yeah.
lip syncing was certainly a very big thing in the 80s, 90s, because even to this day, I think lip syncing is very pretty predominant, because it's very hard inside a studio environment to like sort of get all the live things right in order technically to make everything sound good. So the easiest way to do it is like play the track on the background. And like you said, it's always about representing those artists and their creation to the live audience, sitting at home and watching it. Actually, the whole scenario happens that this is a part of larger culture called West African blues.
Mhm.
These were former French colonies, if I'm not wrong, the West African nations. And the French, therefore, were very interested in the culture. There was like this period of cultural exchange over the centuries. And they were really interested in all these exotic, sort of traditional cultures. And also, these countries had access to Western literature and Western influence through this. And they evolved pretty naturally. It was really amazing to see. And I mean, in fact, this was a fusion of French musicians and record producers along with Mory Kante. They met together and made this record. That's what's amazing about it. It's a period of like renaissance where people of two different cultures and two different races come together to create some magic.
Yeah, I think that's pretty incredible.
Yeah, certainly. I
And
mean,
I
like
think
it's
that's what it was about. This performance was about the cultural representation and establishing that and watching that, and that being exotic. That's what I feel.
yeah.
Like that being different.
Yeah, certainly. And talking about the music, I would like to say that this was on par to, let's say, Michael Jackson or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, did you see Morikante dancing? Like, it was
Yeah,
very Michael Jackson. Even outfit,
yes.
it's like very Michael Jackson moves, very different from the woman dancing. Did you notice that? Like the
Yeah.
woman dancing was more natural and, her culture. But he was like very like Michael Jackson and very like, mm,
I mean,
yeah,
look at him. He looks so hip. Like he's wearing this white blazer with a t-shirt
yeah,
underneath it with like a white watch. He's as fashionable as you can get.
Yeah.
and then he's holding this ancient instrument, some
Yeah.
harp like instrument. It's
Harp
such a
like, yeah.
it's such a vibe,
It
man.
has the strings, yeah.
It's such a vibe. It's like a fusion of European harp, sort of something that looks like an Indian sitar, and a strutted instrument like a guitar, but it can't be plucked. It's
Yeah.
such an amazing exchange of cultures.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a time capsule in itself, Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and the studio quality, I mean, the production quality of this whole thing. They certainly use some of the best instrumentations available at that time, like the arpeggiated basses, the synths in the
Mm.
background, the raw guitars, the trumpets, the bass lines. It was a whole package,
Mm.
and yeah, like you said, this lady was a star of the show. I love looking at her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Like the performance, yeah.
what stands out to me, I think, is how raw and real her performance looks.
Mm.
Do you think this is choreographed?
Yeah. Actually, this is how African, I'm not being racist or anything, but this is how the style is. Like, I had once learned the style called Durumba, if I'm not saying it wrong. Like, and it's very, very natural. Like, and sometimes they get like, somebody to play the drums for the beats, like cities and all. Like, you won't find like somebody playing the drums, like. But yeah, a lot of rhythm and sensations and everything that you get, like, it naturally grows when you use like some instruments like this. That's what I feel as a dancer or as a person who used to dance, that it's more natural flowing, and I think that's what makes us so you know so liberating to watch.
Yeah,
So liberating to watch her sensitivity, like the way she's dancing, and her dance is definitely like it is choreographed, but she definitely has trained, but in her culture, in her natural sense, like
yes.
not in the commercial or like refined senses, you know so that's what makes it so pleasing.
Like while this probably is choreographed or trained, this her
Yeah.
expression is coming out so naturally and
Yeah,
organic.
yeah, the whole body language is so organic and
In the modern day and age, I mean, in the era of Instagram filters, this is like a fresh breath of fresh air.
yeah, yeah,
Like,
definitely,
um,
like so natural, so organic, and so raw, like with the expression. And the word is liberation, not pleasant. It's liberation.
yes,
Like
certainly.
liberation of the senses, or like liberation. I
Yes,
think that's what it
it
is.
just frees you from
Yeah,
all of your
yeah, it frees
inhibitions.
you from that material containment, like that something that's reserving you, like it's containing you, like something like this thing
Like,
frees you, like
yes, and my artistic interpretation of this whole scene is that this lady is like sort of the energy translator of Mory Kante, because he's so busy playing his instrument and singing at the same time. He cannot totally express all of his
yeah.
energy, right? And this lady
Mm.
is sort of like representing what his ancient culture
Yeah,
or
yeah,
traditional
yeah.
culture is.
True. The energy aspect, like, the
Yes.
cultural raw energy of Morikant. Like he's like the head of the, whole song, and like he has to like present the song in a certain, dynamic. And she is like the raw energy that's bursting, that made the whole music, I guess. The
Yeah.
initial raw energy. Yeah.
Yes, certainly. The birth of all things. And
Yeah.
these two ladies on the right side, to me, they represent Western worldview, more structured,
Mm.
rigid, and like trying to be more civilized. They do the same
Mm.
steps throughout the entire song. And
Yeah.
it's just that Morikant stands in between, bridging the two worlds so seamlessly. And that's so magical.
Yeah. Yeah. And like Michael Jackson. Like I think that's what Michael Jackson feels to me now. Like he
He
was,
got the moves.
although he was modern, huh?
He got the moves. Like
Yeah,
Morikant got
like
the moves.
yeah, like Michael Jackson.
Like every now and then you'll catch him doing some sort of breakdance sort of thing. It's so amazing to see this whole performance. And
Yeah.
uh,
There's a striking difference, as you said, like, about that those women and this lady, like, there's a striking difference in energy, like, and passion, like, and the lady on the left, like, the lady on the right, like,
yeah,
striking difference. Like, you can really
yes.
feel it when you watch it.
And another thing that sounds very fresh to me about the music is that whenever, like, let's say people try to make something that try to fuse two different cultures, they sort of end up adapting the other culture more. Let's say you're making a rap song but in a native language, you try to take more elements of the hip hop than is necessary. Here it doesn't happen, it fuses so well together, because if you notice, not all lines are uniformly spaced. There are some lines that are longer, some lines that are shorter, and there are so many
Mm.
at times the switch between the lead singer and the background vocalist or the choir happens so seamlessly, and that is very rare in Western music. For example, if I play somewhere over here, it's just amazing. Yes, and I can't wait to see the live of this. Let's move on to the live performance of Yeke Yeke.
Yeah.
And for context, I'm pausing just for context. This man, if people don't know, this is Santana, and he, at one point of time, he was the greatest guitarist in the world. Damn, man. Oh my
So,
God.
what did you think? How did you feel? I think the
I'm
feelings
still,
come first. Like, like when you hear it, you're like, you feel it. Yeah.
I'm still like looking for words. The thing is, this is one of the greatest musical moments I've ever witnessed in a long, long time. Uh, every time
I
I see
think
this,
this was, yeah.
I get transported to
I
another
think
world. I was saying,
I think it's so
yeah.
insightful. This live video was so insightful because there was so many things into it, like so many elements, so many details. Like if you really watch it, you'll find so many things that you might have missed before. Like you gotta rewatch it, and it's so interesting. So you go
Firstly,
ahead.
firstly was I was very glad to see the live version of these things, and you realize that these musicians are still capable of bringing the same energy on the stage. Like earlier we were thinking that okay, that was lip sync, but yeah, even
Mm.
this. But what I really missed was the backing vocalist, the female vocalist. I really missed them. Uh, but then
So,
the
yeah, so sorry to interrupt, but I just wanted to say something that this song, like, when it first started, you feel an uplifting spirit, like, I think that's because the song was because it's made about a princess and like a love romance sort of song, this whole song. So I think that's what you feel, okay, like that energy, like that romance that it was made for, okay, the love that it was made for. And I think that's what you feel at the beginning, like the uplifting, like like sudden, like yeah, you were saying.
Yeah, I certainly feel the same. This was a song that was made with a lot of love and passion. And the same is translated live as well. And to me, the whole point of this was the connection that Santana had with uh, Mory Kante, because this, I felt that is what artists live for. Let's look at that moment once again. It happens right over here. So what I witness is that, like, a legendary artist like Mory Kante and one of the greatest guitarists of his times, Santana, they're both on the same stage. And how do they deal with that situation? I mean,
Jamming.
yeah, they start jamming in the middle of a live concert. They start jamming, and like, so there's a portion where Morikant becomes a child. In fact, he starts playing new, like, improvisations live somewhere over here. Yeah. And he got his mouth wide open. Like, that's so energetic.
So, this thing that you mentioned, that childlike thing, like, they say that, when the child is in the womb and when the child comes out, it's a process of creation. So that's why I feel like in the most vulnerable and the most in the crux of creativity is a child. Like, it's a childlike expression, like, it's a making of a child and the whole interconnection. So when he is like being playful like a child, it only makes sense, right? Like he's in the
Yes.
creative process in front of thousands and thousands, and I don't know if thousands is a small number to say in front of how many people they're actually playing. And he was so open and so vulnerable and so, sharing, like with welcoming everyone to his creative process, like not being ashamed of it. Like, like to be like this, like, that's the whole crux of creativity, according to me.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what, like, I feel that he's enjoying it to the max. So you see, you hear Santana trying to play and trying to play along with him in the background. If you hear, there is this guitar that goes prang prang. He's trying to connect, but he's not able to.
Yeah.
And then he realizes that he's trying
It's
to
a
play with
different
him.
tone. Yeah, it's a different
Yeah,
tune that they're trying to achieve. Yeah.
yeah, and he
He
realizes
realizes.
that Santana is trying to connect with him, and he turns back.
Hmm. Yeah.
And then what happens after that is magical. This is, to me, so interesting. Did you notice that he was just teaching him to play chords?
The
It,
witch card. Witch card. The magic recipe. What's happening? I see it.
so, for the viewers, so basically what's happening here is, so the greatest guitarist and a legendary artist, they come down to the basics in the middle of a live show where Mory Kante starts playing basic chords. He starts strumming pram, and Santana also goes pram, and they take
Yeah.
it from there. Let's see where they
Yeah.
take it.
Because like
Yeah, you were saying?
yeah, because like you said, right, that he realized that he wanted to connect with him, like musically. Like,
Yes.
and that's how Santana connects. He doesn't he plays his instrument and expresses. He never talks. So he was really
Yeah.
trying, and then like you said, like, he turned, and now he's like showing him the chord, like, like that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, what you said is really true. I don't see Santana talking much. I mean, he
Yeah,
always
he's
plays his
very introverted.
guitar is his language. Like he goes wild and he stops and he starts listening again. I mean, he is the world's greatest guitarist. I mean,
Yeah,
imagine the humility you must have to
yeah.
respect another artist and
Yeah,
learn.
and to follow that, to follow that, like, like, okay, he realized that, oh, I'm playing a tune that's not going with the rhythm, something like that, and then he goes back into that, like, to learn that, like, yeah.
See, he's like,
See, he's like, yeah, he's like, oh wait, let me catch that again, yeah.
my God, he's happy. Like his hands are in the air.
Yeah. So I have something here to say that I
Yeah.
noticed when we first watched this, okay, that like I think Santana is very good with tunes. I think that's his thing. But this thing is challenging for him because he's not supposed to play a tune now because they are all playing rhythms, whatever you call that, whatever they're
Yeah.
trying to achieve, like, the
Exactly.
duality or whatever. So he's in a situation now. It's like, I play tunes, that's my expertise, and this is a new thing. And that's amazing, right? Like, it's your expertise is different. Like, that's why you see him sort of give up, like, and play a tune out of happiness, that okay, I'm getting somewhere, I'm happy, okay, I'm playing a tune, and then he get back to into it. Okay, and then like again he plays a tune, and then again he gets back into it, and this time he really tries, and then like it works, that he's able to achieve a tune and the duality of the rhythm. Like, I feel like he has achieved that, what he was trying. Like, he was trying to find that, okay, my expertise and their expertise, like, a common ground. And then he's like,
Yes, he's done. So that's what artists live for. I feel like, it's this
yeah.
genuine human connection to learn and
Yeah.
grow and
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
prosper.
yeah, yeah. Like, I think that is what it is. Like, when two artists, like, artists come together and they want to learn each other. They want to learn and, grow. Like, and it's not about, okay, like, my expertise, your expertise. It's about the blend. It's about how can we, like, blend together and get that juice. But I think that this thing is about, it's the language of music, like, it's a connection of music, the language of music, like, can you talk in music? And I think Morikante and Santana, they had a conversation with music, without talking, without words, like, and they were really jamming together. And then he carried on with that, and then at the end he actually, attained that, like, the tune and rhythm, and attaining that thing. So I think, and then he carried that on to the end. And then he was like, and he was trying, like, how can I make this better? Like, how can I actually, bring that out more? So I think that was crazy. Like, that was mind blowing when I was watching it.
Amazing, amazing. I mean, humans are just beautiful. I feel like, this is these are the times I feel so grateful for being humans. I mean,
Yeah,
being a human, having this human
human
life.
being. Yeah,
Like Carl Sagan says, like, we are the only people of the universe who can understand the universe, and it feels so good to be
yeah.
human. And these are the times when I cherish that nature of being a human. So I was just thinking, like, whenever I look at such artistry, where people take things out of their own culture. In fact, Santana, as well as an artist, he takes a lot from his Latin origin, right? They are able to create magic without having to sacrifice their own individuality, and this inspires to me as an artist. And I often find myself wondering why probably our own people could not take folk culture from India and create something magical, which people have. There are bands like Avial, there are bands like uh, Agam, and so many other people who have done this. I'm not telling that they haven't, but none in that energy, passion, and sort of charisma as such people. And that too, like, we see such innovations very recently. What did India just skip that evolution in the 80s when this was supposed to
Mm-hmm.
happen? When the folk and Western elements were supposed to, like, kick in and sort of create
Majorly,
this magic. Yeah,
like
probably we
majorly in
skip.
the country. Yeah,
What do you think? I
like
mean, did we skip some elements of evolution in terms of our culture?
I definitely do feel that. Like, yeah, because I
Uh,
I think that it did happen. I think that it did happen, but it was very minor. Like, it happened in like small areas or like small places that never got to get the chance to be on a stage like this. That's why I said that, it was outstanding, like, so exotic, and that they got those people on the stage to represent the
yeah,
culture. Imagine that now in India you do that. It's like that. Like, it's like bringing those people and asking them to perform or play or, showcase their culture and watch it. And this happens, it does happen, but it's not major. It's
yeah,
not major. That's what
it's
I
not.
mean. Like, see, you will
Yeah,
have some shows and all some performances on like small, but you don't even know they're happening. Like, they're local, like, but they're happening. So it's not that it's not happening. It's just not taking over. It's just not taking the main stage.
And yes, talking again of things happening in India,
Indian.
I noticed a
Yeah.
few things, and it's time to sort of put it out there. Yes, let's go. 15 seconds, you will get to know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah, by now we know what we are about to hear, right? By now we know. But yeah, like every time I listen to this, man, the sound quality, the quality of production just kicks me off. And what also disappoints me is the same thing, that probably what we are going to discuss ahead does not have the same quality. Yeah, so we all know what we are going to talk about. Yeah, so this song was from the same album. It was released in 1987. And not one, but two Indian songs took inspiration from the song. And I use that word inspiration very, very carefully. Let's have a look at the proficiency of those as well. Yes, and to begin with, the infamous Amitabh Bachchan, right? So this was by music directors Lakshmikant Pyarelal, and they had done this, I think, in the year somewhere around 1990, yeah, 1991, right? So yeah, there you have it. Yeah, so gee, I feel like my whole life is a lie. Whenever I look at like this, like whoever I've admired as being the forefathers of the industry had all had dirty secrets.
Yeah.
What do you think about this whole thing? I mean, I don't ever think they ever credited the original creator.
This is the part that I do not like. This is the part that I do not appreciate. That, see, if you're saying inspiration, I think inspiration is a very different process. And copying is a very different process. Okay, to be like so bluntly, open about this. But yeah, like even we are artists, we take inspiration, but So I think that often this word inspiration is, used in such a way, but people don't really understand the difference. Like, I think that's to be very honest and open. Like, inspiration as an artist is a different process, and copying is a very different process. How it works and how it works. Okay, like, copying is just like cut paste without being inspired by what made that in the first place. How you go about that? What did the artist go through? What did the artist do? It's not due diligence. It's just pasted, like without any context, without any learning, without any um, thing behind it. Inspiration is, a very gradual process about where you understand where did that thing come from, and you get inspired by it. Like, and then you're inspired to make something. So
Yeah.
naturally, the credit comes.
Yeah. So
When you're
you
inspired by
all.
something, you're very open about it because it's a humbling process. You're open about it. I was inspired by this person. This person inspired me. Like, because it's a humbling process. Yeah.
So what you're really saying is like not just that we skipped some portions of natural evolution of art and culture, we also
Cut
yeah,
paste to
yeah,
to make ourselves look good.
yeah. So we also what we did was we skipped certain elements of the process of making
Process. Yeah,
art. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. That got messed. Yes.
yeah. So not,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, that was not the only culprit. I mean, the disco king of India, Mr. Bapilari, also did something. I mean, the first thing I noticed is the drastic difference in the quality of production.
Yeah. But I think it improves afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say not bad for its time. But still, I mean, not really proud of it. And let's say,
Oh.
oh shit, yes, I see what
This
he did
is
there.
from yeah, this is actually
I
from Yeke.
Yes, I see what he did there. Yes, I think, yeah, that is what it is. That is what it is. Not just that, not just did Bappi quote unquote took inspiration from one of Mory Kante's
Mhm.
songs. It's was two, in fact. Like now at this point it's not inspiration. At this point it is, like you said, cut and paste.
It's a process.
Yeah, it's a process. It's the due
There's no
diligence you have to do.
context. Yeah.
This one as well. Oh my God.
Yeah.
This is no. This is, I think, somewhere from here. Or
I think I,
yeah,
I I think it's
here,
in.
here, here. Yes, very, very proud. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God. All right, all right.
That
But
was crazy.
yeah, so yes, technically not just.
I would say there's one more Tama Tama. There's one more modernized Tama Tama that is not Bappi Larry's. If you search
Yeah.
on YouTube, I'm sure you'll find us one more Tama Tama.
Yeah, but these were the originators. So I think
Yeah, yeah,
I would not discredit
yeah, the
somebody who
secondary,
repaid.
tertiary Tama Tama copies that came. Like, but this is
Yeah.
a original copy, I think,
Yeah.
that happened.
Yeah. Yes.
Normalizing copying basically
Yeah. I
in the
think
Indian industry. Yep.
yes, I felt like they they were of the opinion that they could get away from it very easily because of
Yep.
the lack of sort of exposure of Indian society to Western
Yeah, I
elements.
think this was a difficult time for India when all of
Yes.
this happened. Yeah.
So yeah, it gave rise to a lot of other things,
Yeah.
certainly. And what I'm also interested to do right now is I am fascinated about the instrument that Mory Kante uses. I
Oh,
wanna have a look
yeah.
at it.
Yes.
It's just amazing. I mean, it's this ancient instrument
Yes.
which led to all of this,
Yep.
including two popular Bollywood songs. Let's have a look at it.
Yeah. Should I
Yes.
introduce Tarzan? Sleeping.
That's okay. Let him sleep.
Blooper.
Mm,
Okay.
yes. And yeah, I found an amazing video to have a look at what magic can be created with this ancient instrument. Let's have a look at it. Wow. It's essentially like a harp, but
Mm.
yet it is the way you play it is much different as opposed to a harp.
Mm.
Because rather than all of the strings being across, it has two sets of strings that are sometimes the repetition of the same notes, playing different octaves, and two instruments, like let's say two individual chorus, can have two different tunings, and that can create such beautiful harmony, especially when such great artists play it. And this is certainly a very refined kora. This is modern technology with all this modern woodworking. If you see what Mory Kante used in this 1987 video, it had just a pole and a few things tied with rope, and he was making amazing. He was shredding it out with that old of an instrument. This is much more modern and much more well refined and well made. So yeah, I mean, there is no bounds to how much a man can contribute, man or a
Mm-hmm.
woman for that matter. An artist can contribute to the growth of a culture. It's just magical.
Mm.
So if
I'm
we don't,
speechless.
yeah, that's what, yeah,
Like it's like dual, like there's this dual rhythm, like dual tune, and like it's just also some sharpness that they can bring with the instrument, like to bring some dynamic range, like other than the ethereal, the transcending ethereal tune that was happening, like from the
yes,
beginning.
I think it is
And Mhm.
like it has like the grace of playing a guitar. If you see
Mm.
um, some of the Gustavo Santaolall's soundtracks from movies like Babel and the Motorcycle Diaries, the exciting part about it is that when Gustavo plays, the movements of his fingers and pulling of the strings also creates a particular sound of its own. It's not just the melodies that the guitar creates, it's also that ting ting tong, like the sounds of the nails and the pulling of the strings. They have a particular musicality to them itself, and there is like so much more in this instrument. I see this instrument has the ability to sort of be used in movies and art in a way that probably has not been explored enough. It's so underrated.
Yeah, and so peaceful, right? Like it feels like there's some water flowing, like it's so ethereal.
Yeah.
I love water flowing. Like I love rivers. I love the whole. And so this remind me of like sitting at a lake or river or something like a water body, and like just losing
Yes.
yourself or just being there. Like, peaceful.
Yeah. Certainly. Ah, yes. This is yet another speechless moment. After watching all of this,
Yeah.
I feel, yes, I cannot speak for a while. So I think that is it for today.
Yeah. If
We ex-
you like this video, hit the like button and comment below. What do you guys think? How did you all feel during the session? What were your feelings? What were your thoughts? What are your insights? We'd like to know. So let us know in the comment section before we'll be reading everything, and we will also be replying so that we can connect in the comments and grow our artist inclination and our taste and our consciousness. And
yes.
yes, don't forget to subscribe if you like what we do, and to like support us so that we can do much more,
Yes.
so that we
Thank you.
continue with this.
Thank you,
So we'll
everyone.
see you
Thank
in
you.
the next video.
Bye.